Oh. What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and today we're going to be looking at my top 5 selfie smartphone cameras of 2016. Now I've already done a top 5 rear-facing cameras video, and that's going to be linked in the card, so definitely do go ahead and check that out. But in this video, we're specifically looking at selfies because everybody likes taking selfies, so much so that 85% of people now take more images from the front-facing camera as opposed to the rear-facing camera. Okay, I just totally made that up. That's not true. Don't believe that. You did believe me there for a second, didn't you? I don't know what the numbers are, but the point is, people are taking many more selfies. I've taken lots of selfies this year, as you may have already seen. Okay, maybe a bit too many, but the point is I've had lots of experience with lots of different smartphones and tested out lots of different cameras for selfies. And based on that, this is what I have come to these top 5. They might not be the same as your best camera, and if yours is something different, then drop that in the comments below. Also, this list is in no particular order. It will come down to your personal preference, and I'm going to be showing you lots of examples so you get a better idea and discussing the advantages and disadvantages of each of these. So getting straight into it, first up we have the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. So Apple have finally started to take selfies seriously, considering the fact that from the iPhone 6 we only had a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, which is an absolute joke. But Apple did finally wake up and they gave us a 5 megapixel front-facing camera on the 6S, and now we have a 7 megapixel camera on the 7s, and it's very, very good. It takes some nice consistent shots in most situations. I particularly like it in low light because of that front-facing flash, so it illuminates the front screen, and it does it in different colors, so it actually gives you some nice accurate results, and I do definitely like that. The angle isn't as wide as some of these others, so it's not the best for your group selfies, groupies, weefies, whatever you want to call them, but it does give you a nice portrait shot. I find some of the others might be a bit too wide, so you know, they can be a little bit distortion, but you don't get that with the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now it is going to come down to your personal preference. Now, dynamic range isn't great on the iPhone 7s compared to some of the other cameras in this list, but you still get some really good results. And one of the advantages with the 7 and 7 Plus is that most of these apps, such as Snapchat, they work best with the iPhones straight away because the updates don't have to go through too many different changes and things like that. And for a lot of people, because of that, the iPhones will be the best choice here. Next up on my list is the Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. We've got a 5 megapixel camera and it is super wide, so you can get lots of people in your shot. You're probably not going to need a selfie stick, and just at arm's length you are going to be able to get quite a few people in, which is a great touch on the S7. Overall, some nice consistent shots with lots of details as well as a great dynamic range. Now, one advantage that you do get with the S7s is the fact that you can record video at 1440p, so this is higher than 1080p, and it's great if you're somebody who does do lots of vlogging and things like that. You're going to be getting that extra detail from the front-facing camera on the S7s. Now, one of the disadvantages that I find is that it's not too great in low light, and you do get some software processing. This isn't beauty mode, but when you do take shots in low light, there is some processing going on to enhance the image, and it does make it lose lots of detail, so that is just something to bear in mind. Next up on my list is the LG G5. You have an 8 megapixel camera and it works really, really well. You've got some great dynamic range as well as some nice detail, and because of the 8 megapixels you do have some options to crop later on as well. And what I like about the LG G5 is that it's not too wide and it's not too narrow. It's kind of in between the S7 and the iPhone 7 when it comes to the angle of lens, and I quite like that balance there. Now, you also have the V20, the LG V20, which I've not had a chance to try out because it's not available in the UK, but that has a similar setup, but it's a 5 megapixel camera and it is quite wide at 120 degrees. Next on my list is the Google Pixel and Pixel XL, and personally I'd say that these are my favorite selfie cameras, and that comes down to that dynamic range. These things have an absolutely crazy dynamic range, so when you actually take an image on screen you might not see it looking too great because dynamic range isn't going to be displayed on screen. And once you've taken the image, then it's going to go ahead and process this and it's going to give you some magic. So here you can see on the examples on screen that I took a screenshot when I was taking a selfie with the Pixel, and it kind of was really washed out in the background, but as soon as I had taken it and I went into the gallery, then it was actually a really nice picture. You've got 8 megapixels, which is plenty, and it gives you tons of detail. Some people actually thought that I had taken the selfies from the rear-facing camera because of the amount of detail that you had in here. So Google have done an absolutely great job with the selfies for the Google Pixel and Pixel XL. Now for my final one, this was a little tricky because a lot of the others were kind of similar. Some had advantages, disadvantages, but I've come down to the conclusion that it would have to be, I believe, the OnePlus 3T. Now the reason why I'm giving this to the OnePlus 3T is because I think it's the best camera for the price that you're paying. So you're going to be getting 16 megapixels, which is more than double lots of the cameras on this list. So you're going to be getting lots of detail as well as croppability. I'm not sure if that's a real word, but you know what I mean. You know, you can crop in later on, so that is quite nice. You get lots of detail and it does perform pretty well. Now for the price, I do think it performs quite good. It's not, however, as good as some of the other cameras on this list in my personal opinion. And there are some honorable mentions which came very close to becoming on this list but didn't quite make it. And first up, there is the HTC 10. Now, the great thing about this and the unique thing about it is that it has optical image stabilization from the front-facing camera. This is something that's not available on many of the smartphones, or I don't even think any smartphones have optical image stabilization on the front-facing camera. However, I didn't really notice that much of a difference when it came to stills, and comparing it to some of these others, it didn't really stand out to me personally anyway, but it did do great for video. So if you walk around while doing some video, then the HTC 10 was a good option there. And we also had the Huawei P9, which took some great shots, the Oppo F1 Selfie Expert, that took some nice shots in good light. Didn't think it was great in low light, however, which is the reason why it didn't make it on to this list. And the Sony Xperia XZ, now I didn't actually get a chance to test this out, but I have heard some great things. Which one of these was your favorite? Was yours not on this list? Drop me a comment below and let me know. Now, if you want to customize the look of your smartphones like I have done here for mine, then definitely check out our sponsor for this video, which is Dbrand. I'll be leaving a link to Dbrand in the description below, so definitely do go ahead and check them out. You guys do enjoy these top 5 cameras from the feedback that I've had. If you want to see more of them, then do hit that thumbs up button to let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then make sure you subscribe and switch on notifications because there's going to be lots more content coming up here in 2017. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and keep taking selfies. I'll see you next time.